Tiffany Henyard's once promising political career has unraveled in a series of scandals, leaving her reputation in tatters. Known as the self-proclaimed super mayor of Dalton, Illinois, and the supervisor of Thornton Township, Henyard was a rising star in local government. With a commanding presence and an annual salary nearing $300,000, she appeared to have a bright future ahead. However, beneath the surface of her public persona and political success, a darker story of financial mismanagement, personal struggles, and public controversies began to unfold, ultimately leading to the shocking collapse of her career. Henyard's fall from grace was fueled by mounting financial troubles and an inability to manage both her personal and political responsibilities. Her descent became undeniable when she failed to pay rent on a property owned by a former friend and supporter, Jeanette Hall. In 2021, Hall had rented Henyard and her boyfriend, Kamal Woods, a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom home, trusting that the well-paid politician would have no issues covering the cost. However, by December 2024, Hall was owed a staggering $5,000 in overdue rent and late penalties. Henyard and Woods had not paid rent since August, leaving Hall scrambling to cover the unpaid amount. For Hall, the situation was both a financial and personal betrayal. Once a trusted ally of Henyard, she now faced economic hardship due to the mayor's irresponsibility. What had initially been a mutually beneficial arrangement had turned into a painful reminder of Henyard's mounting personal and financial woes. The looming eviction was just one chapter in a broader pattern of mismanagement that had plagued Henyard for years. Reports suggest that Henyard had long struggled with financial discipline, despite her substantial income. The unpaid rent reflected a larger pattern of erratic behavior and questionable financial decisions. Her high salary did little to shield her from mounting debts, and soon, she became embroiled in controversies ranging from public outbursts to allegations of financial negligence in her professional capacity. As Henyard's career faltered, so did her public image. Once seen as a formidable leader with a promising future, she was now viewed as a liability by both her community and political peers. Accusations of extravagant spending, wasteful government programs, and an increasing number of legal challenges further tarnished her reputation. The unpaid rent and potential eviction only added fuel to the fire. Henyard's financial struggles weren't limited to her rental property. Public records indicate she was involved in multiple questionable financial dealings, including allegations of misusing taxpayer funds. As the controversies mounted, her once stellar career came crashing down, making her a symbol of mismanagement in both her personal life and public service. Despite the mounting evidence against her, some still believe Henyard could stage a comeback. However, the damage to her reputation is severe, and her political future remains uncertain. With legal battles on the horizon and public trust deeply eroded, any attempt at resurgence would be an uphill battle. Her credibility has been severely compromised, and regaining the public's confidence seems like a daunting task. For now, it remains unclear whether Tiffany Henyard can recover from the damage to her career and personal life. Her fall from grace has been swift and dramatic, and the controversies surrounding her show no sign of fading. Whether she can reclaim her position, or if this marks the end of her political journey, will only become clear with time. What is certain, however, is that Henyard's once promising career is now marred by scandal, and her future hangs in the balance. Tiffany Henyard, once regarded as a political powerhouse in Illinois, has seen her career and personal life spiral into turmoil. As allegations of financial mismanagement and public outbursts continue to mount, her reputation is unraveling in a very public way. Henyard, who served as the mayor of Dalton and the supervisor of Thornton Township, was once considered a rising star in Illinois politics. With a commanding presence and a lucrative salary, she seemed destined for success. However, her public persona began to collapse under the weight of controversies, including a high-profile eviction battle and accusations of unethical financial dealings. One of the most damaging chapters in her fall from grace centers around a dispute with her landlord, Jeanette Hall. Initially, Hall had planned to rent her 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom home to another family, but Henyard allegedly intervened, insisting that she needed the property. As a supporter of Henyard's political career, Hall reluctantly agreed to rent the home to Henyard and her boyfriend, Kamal Woods, in 2021. At the time, Henyard was at the peak of her career, and Hall had no reason to suspect financial issues. However, by December 2024, Henyard and Woods had not paid rent since August, leaving Hall with $5,000 in overdue payments and late fees. Hall, who had been counting on rental income, found herself in a financial crisis. Despite repeated attempts to settle the matter, the situation deteriorated. Henyard and Woods reportedly refused to pay, citing rising property taxes as justification for withholding rent. As tensions escalated, Hall alleged that Henyard and Woods changed the locks and garage code, effectively barring her from accessing the property and retrieving personal belongings. Efforts to serve Henyard with eviction papers were repeatedly obstructed. According to Hall, the Cook County Sheriff's Office attempted to deliver legal notices at both Henyard's residence and Village Hall, but Henyard refused to cooperate. What began as a financial dispute quickly became a full-fledged legal battle, forcing Hall to sue Henyard in late September 2024 to recover the unpaid rent and reclaim her property. Henyard's defiance in this case is emblematic of a broader pattern of behavior. Throughout her career, she has frequently dismissed criticism and portrayed herself as a victim of political attacks. Her refusal to accept responsibility and her combative leadership style have only deepened public distrust. At the same time, Henyard's political career was crumbling. Once a dominant figure in her community, her influence took a dramatic hit in 2024. Just weeks before her eviction battle intensified, she suffered a devastating political defeat when she was ousted as Thornton Township supervisor. The loss came during a contentious Democratic caucus, where tensions flared between Henyard and her political rival, State Senator Napoleon Harris. Arriving at the caucus in Homewood, Illinois, wearing a bold pink pantsuit, Henyard appeared confident. However, the event quickly turned against her. Henyard accused Harris of manipulating the process, claiming that his supporters were allowed in while hers were blocked. She demanded legal action to challenge the results, but Harris and his legal team dismissed her claims, asserting that the caucus followed all publicized rules. The proceedings lasted only 7 minutes before Henyard was unanimously removed as the party's nominee for township supervisor. As Harris and his supporters celebrated, the event underscored just how far Henyard's political standing had fallen. Chants from the crowd symbolized her dramatic decline, marking what many saw as the end of her political aspirations, at least for the time being. In the wake of her political defeat, Henyard faced an even harsher reality. Her personal and professional life were in complete disarray. The loss of her township role was a public humiliation, and her mounting legal troubles only made matters worse. The eviction case served as a stark reminder of her financial mismanagement, even as she continued to project an image of control. Despite these setbacks, Henyard announced her intention to run for re-election as mayor of Dolton. However, her campaign was quickly overshadowed by revelations of financial misconduct. Investigations uncovered a disturbing pattern of taxpayer-funded extravagance, including first-class flights, luxury dining, and even beauty services, all paid for with public money. One of the most damning discoveries involved Henyard's use of a village credit card to make nearly $43,000 in Amazon purchases in a single day. The purchases, which were unrelated to government business, fueled allegations that she had exploited her position for personal gain. Further investigations revealed that Henyard and her associates misused township-owned vehicles for private purposes, including political fundraisers and personal shopping trips. Additionally, sources within the municipality claimed that Henyard's office staff were regularly assigned non-governmental tasks, such as organizing her personal appearances and private gatherings. These revelations painted a troubling picture of a public official who had turned her government office into a personal service hub, further deepening public disillusionment. With these allegations mounting, calls for accountability grew louder. Local leaders and residents demanded further investigations into Henyard's tenure, seeking transparency regarding her financial practices. Once viewed as a determined political force, Henyard was now seen as a symbol of corruption and self-enrichment. Despite her public defiance, Henyard's future remains highly uncertain. Will she be able to recover from these humiliating setbacks? Can she restore public trust and re-establish her political career? The mounting evidence suggests that any path to redemption will be long and difficult. For now, Henyard remains embattled on multiple fronts, fighting legal battles, struggling to regain political credibility, and facing intense public scrutiny. Her once promising career is now defined by scandal, defiance, and an inability to accept responsibility. Whether she can reclaim her former influence, or if this marks the end of her political journey, remains to be seen. One thing is certain. Tiffany Henyard's fall from grace is among the most dramatic and shocking in recent Illinois political history. Tiffany Henyard's once promising political career has been overshadowed by mounting controversies, severely damaging her credibility in the eyes of the public. As the investigation into her actions continues, many question whether she will ever regain the trust of the people she once served. Given the growing evidence of financial misconduct and personal mismanagement, it seems increasingly unlikely that Henyard can overcome the scandals that now define her political career. Despite the growing allegations against her, Henyard remains steadfast in her claims of innocence, arguing that she is the victim of political sabotage. However, the fallout from her eviction and the accusations of corruption have left her at a crossroads, with her future in Illinois politics uncertain. While she still has some supporters, particularly those who echo her claims of sabotage and corruption within the Democratic Party, the broader public's perception of her has shifted dramatically. Once a rising star, Henyard now faces an uphill battle to salvage any semblance of a political future. In a stunning turn of events, Henyard's troubles deepened when the Village of Dolton's board reversed several of her key decisions at a public meeting. Under fire for her financial and managerial practices, Henyard made a startling announcement during the meeting, issuing a 30-day ultimatum to address the growing issues. However, her declaration was overshadowed by sharp criticism, including a scathing public remark from former Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot, who called Henyard the worst mayor in America. Lightfoot cited Henyard's extravagant spending and controversial leadership style, which have sparked outrage within the community. The criticism was further amplified by staggering financial figures revealed during an ongoing investigation into Dolton's finances. According to early research by a special investigator, the village's general fund balance had plummeted from over $5 million in 2022 to a projected deficit exceeding $3.5 million by mid-2024. This alarming financial decline raised serious concerns about Henyard's ability to manage public funds, leaving many residents questioning her competence as a leader. The situation took an even darker turn when it was revealed that the FBI had launched an investigation into Henyard's administration. The probe reportedly focuses on employment data, personnel files, and financial records related to Dolton's operations. However, despite the increasing legal scrutiny, Henyard has yet to be officially served with legal documents, leading some to believe that her legal team is working overtime to delay the inevitable. Critics argue that these investigations are long overdue, given the mounting evidence of financial mismanagement, political retaliation, and misconduct under Henyard's leadership. As the investigation into Henyard's administration expands, several of her allies have also been implicated in the growing scandal. Among those facing legal consequences is a former deputy police chief who was recently indicted on charges of bankruptcy fraud. This development further tarnished Henyard's already questionable reputation, reinforcing perceptions that corruption and criminal activity surrounded her leadership. Public outrage has intensified, with residents taking to social media to condemn Henyard's actions. Many argue that her misconduct goes beyond financial mismanagement, characterizing it as outright theft. One comment succinctly captured the mood of the community. "Stop calling it mislaid funds. She blatantly embezzled tax money and spent it extravagantly. That's not misappropriation, it's theft." This sentiment has gained traction, with more and more people referring to her actions as criminal, rather than merely unethical. The backlash grew even stronger when another social media user resurfaced Henyard's past, asking, "How did she come this far after being caught breaking into cars a few years back?" This reference to her previous criminal history, which had been largely forgotten amid her political rise, only added to the perception that Henyard had long been a deeply flawed and unreliable figure. With mounting legal challenges, public outrage, and a rapidly deteriorating reputation, Henyard now faces an uncertain future. The question remains, can she recover from the damage done to her career and reputation? Given the growing number of scandals and ongoing investigations, it seems unlikely that she will be able to stage a successful political comeback. The public's faith in her leadership has been shattered, and her political career appears to be in its final stages. Henyard's defiant attitude and refusal to accept responsibility have further polarized her community and isolated her from former allies. She continues to portray herself as the victim of a coordinated effort to destroy her reputation, claiming that her legal and political troubles, from her eviction to her loss in the Democratic caucus, are part of a broader conspiracy to silence her. However, this combative stance has only fueled more backlash. Some of Henyard's supporters remain loyal, arguing that her downfall is part of a larger effort to undermine her. But many others have become increasingly disgusted by her refusal to take accountability. Her failure to acknowledge the overwhelming evidence against her has further strained her relationship with the community, which has been left questioning her leadership and integrity. Despite the public outcry, Henyard has managed to hold on to her positions as mayor of Dalton and supervisor of Thornton Township, though both roles are under intense scrutiny. The numerous lawsuits, investigations, and scandals surrounding her have raised serious concerns about her fitness to lead. Many residents, along with a growing number of local trustees, have voiced their desire for new leadership. Public dissatisfaction with her administration has reached a boiling point, and opposition to her re-election campaign is mounting. What once seemed like an unstoppable rise to power has now descended into a downward spiral. Henyard's tenure has been marred by accusations of financial mismanagement, corruption, and an increasingly toxic leadership style. Once a politician with promise, her career is now defined by scandals that have eroded her credibility and support. As each new controversy surfaces, her grip on power weakens, and her political future grows more uncertain. Despite these mounting challenges, Henyard remains determined to hold on to her positions. Her refusal to take responsibility for her actions, combined with her insistence on portraying herself as a victim of political sabotage, has only fueled the anger and frustration of many locals. While she still has some supporters who believe in her resilience, it is increasingly clear that her path forward is filled with obstacles. The question on many minds now is whether Henyard can recover from this political disaster. Can she regain the trust of the public, or is her time as a public official coming to an end? As investigations continue and public scrutiny intensifies, Henyard faces an uphill battle. While her resilience may be commendable, it may not be enough to overcome the growing wave of opposition surrounding her. As her political future becomes increasingly uncertain, one thing is clear: Henyard's fight for survival is far from over. The coming weeks and months will determine whether she can salvage her career or if her time in the public eye is finally coming to an end.